Hello and welcome to another episode of the Retrospect podcast, a show where three guys come together from different walks of life and discuss a topic from their generation's perspective. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by Stoney.
Hello.
And X-Man.
Hey, everybody.
It's the most popular right off the get-go of this episode. Get a little a little notification ding.
Ding. Bing. Another angel gets its wings.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, man. So anyways, how you guys been going the past week? Everything okay?
Yes.
It's been a great week.
Yeah. I know everything in the world is kind of going to hell in a handbasket, but is everything locally kind of going okay?
You know, it's funny after our Ukraine discussion last week and then to see everything happen this week, I'm kind of like, wow, we were so right on the money talking about that.
The few times you don't want to be right about anything.
Know,
well,
right?
you know, I want to bring that up. We were incorrect about one thing. The skier or skater from the United States did not give her citizenship up to go to China. We were incorrect on that one.
Okay.
So I don't know how it worked out, but she hasn't given up her U.S. citizenship.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, someone brought that to my attention. I didn't fully research it, but we were slightly incorrect on that.
So Stoney's given a what do you call that? A retraction on our behalf for that. So thank you, Stoney, for.
Yeah. I mean, we're not reporting the news.
We're not.
But
we're not.
We're professionals. We want to at least be correct as
but
possible.
We are absolutely okay if that offended you.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, if that offended you.
We are not 100% truthful. We will tell lies, and we hope you're offended.
We're even okay if you're still offended. So,
I'll even cuss occasionally.
Hey,
I'm still gonna sleep like a baby tonight, friends.
Little cherry on top. I think from what I had heard I think that she's a dual citizen or I thought that was what was happening, and then she had renounced one, but I guess I was incorrect. So
all right. Well, you know, here's the deal. You know, we talked a lot last week about what's going on in this world.
Right.
This coming episode, I think we're going to talk a lot about what's not in this world.
Out of this world.
What's out of this world? So here's the question for the week.
Okay.
If you could populate any place in this universe, or if you could go to Mars, where would you do it and why?
Interesting.
Got a little.
Elon Musk came out.
We're gonna go get our Space Jam on today.
He said that if you're gonna colonize or populate Mars, you're gonna have to be a vegetarian.
Why is that?
Where are you gonna get the meat from?
You're gonna eat other people, just like we do here.
That's just nasty.
You eat people that piss you off.
To start it off, you're only going to be able to grow plants and things like that on the inside.
Right.
You know,
interesting.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean? We can already grow organs and stuff. Surely you could grow some bacon.
I don't know if that's going to be really able to do that. You know,
I'm telling you, we have the technology already.
It's going to be imitation meat.
They could grow an ear for crying out loud. They could.
I wanted to grow my own food, but I can't find bacon seeds anymore.
No, I can't. You got to look a little harder.
It's called bacon bits. Just get a jar of them at the store.
Sprinkle them around the yard. It can't be bad.
That was an absolutely brilliant movie. I hate to do this with Ian here.
What's that?
The Martian. Did you ever see that?
Is that the one with, what's his name?
He's in Mars by himself.
Yes.
Is it Matt Damon? Matt Damon,
yes.
yeah.
That was an absolutely brilliant movie.
That is a really good movie. Yeah. I saw that one.
Never seen that one.
What the hell?
I watched.
Why do we have? Why does he have the movie podcast? I feel like
because
we're going to start our own podcast
because that is the sole purpose of that podcast. We don't have to talk.
Well,
about
for crying out loud, when do you get to start watching some of these movies?
I have watched. I've watched Interstellar, and I think I watched
Interstellar. Wasn't that good?
You're right. I'm just saying
it was terrible.
And then what was the other one? The one with
we didn't tell you about Interstellar.
The lady that Sandra Bullock. She was in one. It was actually pretty decent.
Speed?
No.
Miss Congeniality.
Wow. Yeah, that was a great movie.
The space
when she rolled out of that hangar.
The space movie guys, like the one where she's alone on a space station. I can't remember. There's someone out there who's yelling at
I absolutely have
car
no idea
there's
what
a
you're
bunch
talking
of people yelling out there that you haven't watched any of these good movies.
I mean,
I'm telling you,
again,
you have a
Martian,
podcast.
well,
then,
good.
the problem is that you're making it seem like I make the decisions. Go talk to the other host that handles.
Oh, so it's
right.
their fault. You know, this is
Typical
just like him to
millennial.
throw
my
other
God,
people on
Yes.
the podcast
Typical
under.
millennial. And you can tell
Jeez.
him, look at his face. He's getting offended.
Well, the good thing is that we're talking about space population, and since you are our resident expert in alien sex, perhaps you could start us off.
You knew that was coming, right?
I knew it was coming.
Okay.
I'm gonna abstain from saying anything.
It'll be the first time.
Right? Oh my gosh, Jesus.
Well, I think Mars is the first. It's obviously the first place you got to go. I don't think there's a lot of benefit in colonizing the moon unless you need it as a stepping stone to Mars.
Right.
So Mars would be the first place. But
I think it just depends. Like, are you talking about commercial stuff? Are you talking about scientific
I think it's
stuff?
going to be both. I think it's going to wind up being both. They've seen all these asteroids blowing by that have 1,000 times more minerals and things that we need on just the asteroid than we actually have here on Earth.
Yeah, but blowing doesn't really usually result in population, just good feelings. I mean, honestly, if you're going to populate something, you've got to have some good
Very
space sex.
sexually charged episode this week, huh?
He's already turned
to be
on.
scientific, and
my God.
Yeah.
The thing is, if we're talking about from a realistic perspective, I think Mars obviously is the first one you have to go to because it's the one that can probably sustain the most life. But
Are you
But you also
serious?
have to be
Outside
able-
of the moon?
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
Why? Well,
but
There's no water on the
but the
moon.
thing-
You
the-
have water on Mars that you can turn into oxygen.
Interesting.
Well, I
So-
think there's a lot of stuff that it's going to take a long time to like have an atmosphere on Mars, but it's one of those situations where if you plant the seed now, you may have a tree, a couple thousand million years from now. So it's like
I don't think it'll take that long. They found ice. You can
Right.
get oxygen out of ice.
I'm just meaning like
So-
in the fact of like we can go there.
H2O.
We can go there now. Is what I'm saying. We can
Yes,
probably live.
absolutely,
But
yes.
what I'm saying is to have an atmosphere like Earth is going to take thousands of years, and
If
that's
you want to
scientifically
go planet
proven.
scale,
That's
yes.
what I'm
But
saying.
I'm talking if you want to do it on a smaller scale,
Right.
I don't think you have to.
I'm talking about like again, what if let's just say hypothetically Earth goes to shit, and again like we need another place to go, or something happens, or we run out of resources.
Future tense. It goes to shit.
I'm just
We're kind of there now.
I know. I'm just saying like there's still stuff here. But it's like, what if the atmosphere goes or whatever? It's like you can plant seeds now to like,
Sure.
not only survive on Mars, but then like have a bountiful future. Is what I'm saying.
I'm
Potentially.
sorry. In this whole space conversation, I'm in the Beyonce camp. If you like it, put a ring on it.
Put a
I'm going
ring
to
on it.
Saturn.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I like Saturn. I think there's nothing
But-
better than a nice
Well, I
ring.
think what you have to do is you have to think of the steps to do this.
Right.
Elon Musk and the guy from Virgin and all these private companies right now, yes, they're looking at Mars. What they're not telling you is where the money is. And the money, to start off with, is going to be on satellite reclamation. They are working on a way right now to start bringing these disabled satellites back down
Right.
and take all of the mineral, the gold, the silver,
Right.
the titanium. There's no copper wire in space.
Right.
It's all gold wire. It's all silver wire. Those are the best conductors. So they want to bring those back down, and that's how they're going to make their money, and they're going to fund the Mars trip. They want to, all countries have dead satellites up there.
So let me ask you this. Say, for instance, you get contacted by a scientific group and they say, we would really like you to go to Mars on our thing, but unfortunately, the drill. If you're going to take the trip, we're going to be able to get you there, but we're not going to be able to ever get you back. Are you going?
Truth. That is what happens. Yes,
Are you going?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Are you going?
Yeah.
All right.
My-
What about you?
My first instinct is to say no.
But what if I mean you're missing out on an opportunity that no other human being has ever done.
You're right.
And so you're going to decline your place in history.
The first man bun on Mars.
Again, you're making it sound like I wear a man bun. Jesus.
You actually do when you clean.
Every now and then, but now I have
Still a man
headbands.
He
bun.
tried to deny his man bun just then. I
mean,
can't believe this
okay.
guy.
Like I said,
No, but
function
seriously,
for
I
fashion.
would go in a heartbeat.
Just own your millennialism.
I'd like to take Hottie Doctor with me.
Right.
Well, why not? To be the first
What
to
if
be
you
able to do
couldn't?
something?
What if you couldn't? What if the answer is no?
No, I'm not going to go anywhere.
So
without
you're
her.
not going without Hottie Doctor. You're going to deny yourself.
Yes.
Holy cow, you
I'm
guys.
that much in love with her. Yes. I wouldn't leave
For
her.
me, it's just
Now, if she goes, Bye, guys.
You would be one of the most incredible historical figures in all of time.
Some things aren't worth losing her.
But
You'd be like the Lewis and Clark
Yes.
of today.
Don't care.
potentially though.
If you'd asked me that before,
What do you mean
I met her,
potentially?
I mean, again, I think history is skewed in so many ways. That's like I feel like history would be like, again, I'm not banking on the fact that like the legacy of my name is gonna like.
Who are the first people on the moon?
The only one I know is Buzz Aldrin, and that's all the one. That's the only one.
So you've already named two,
and that's what I'm saying.
And these people didn't even do it in your lifetime.
I know.
So you
But
know
the
these
problem-
names.
but
I'm
what
just saying.
But the interesting fact of that is his generation doesn't even believe that happened.
And again, don't put that on me because I
You're
don't.
the millennial
That doesn't
representative.
matter. Again, you think I'm the one who's going to sit here and go like, we didn't go to the moon. I'm
No,
not one of those guys.
I don't believe you would do that.
But what I'm saying is the fact that like I don't. If that
He's
kind of
feisty
well,
today,
because again,
I like
you
it.
guys are.
He must have had sex.
I understand.
Alien sex.
I
lots of
understand leaving a legacy. I understand making a name for yourself. I understand all that. But if I'm gonna like leave my family, leave my friends, leave my entire life behind for the potential of like dying alone on Mars just to like have my name in the annals of history, that doesn't mean a whole lot to me.
I'm not talking about just having your name in the annals of history. I'm talking about experiencing something as a human being that
You're
no
right.
other human being has ever experienced.
You're right. I would love that.
Yeah.
But the risk does not outweigh the reward for me.
You think?
I think yes.
But what about all the people in the world who have come before you that have felt differently? Are you discounting them?
No, and I think if I feel like if I was in a different place in my life where if my family, I was not on good terms with my family, and I
So your life has to be shit in order for you to go and make a
but what I'm saying is like if I
contribution to humanity.
I feel like I would have a different perspective on the situation if I didn't really have a whole lot here.
Yeah.
If I have a lot, I think personally, emotionally tying me down here that I feel like if I was to leave, that would be to leave and with the definite of never coming back. It's a little hard for me to say yes to that right now.
Bro, it's music to my ears because I need you at work on Monday. But I'm just saying, like,
you see what I mean? I don't know. It may be different if I got some sort of formal training and I was really prepared for it.
Send
Maybe
you up there without.
well, but from what it sounds like, it sounds like you're getting asked the question on Tuesday, and then Wednesday you're expected to get ready to go take off. You know what I'm saying? So
if I could go with Hottie Doctor, I would go.
So you wouldn't even think about it?
I would, but I still feel like it would be hard for me to convince my friends and family and my significant other right now that it's a good idea for me to go do this.
Yeah,
unless
have
I
you
can,
really considered like the contribution to humanity? Have you really thought about the impact of like what maybe the thing that you go there to do actually contributes to all of humanity?
Right.
And gotten kind of outside of the little microcosm of family and thought about humanity as a whole. Like, what about that? I mean, doesn't that count for anything?
It does, and I never really thought about it until you said it.
Okay.
And that makes more sense of like thinking about the world as the whole human species as a whole.
I mean, somebody's got to be first, right?
You're right.
And like that is pioneering. I mean, that's what a lot of the people who like moved to America and went across and reclaimed, territory and then went and spread the country all the way to the west coast and everything. I mean, that's what they did is they went and people did things that they've never done before. And some of them fared better than others. And
But even then still, like, doesn't that still kind of play into what I'm saying though? Is like you left a country of oppressive government where you were being
you
taxed
inherited a country that somebody paid dearly for.
But I'm talking about the people in that time of like leaving a tyrannical government that was taxing them and forcing them to believe something. They were like, I can't live in these conditions anymore, and then they leave to go start something new for the betterment of all their people.
So what about the sake of this world that seems to be falling apart? And then you go.
I guess you're right.
I mean, it's not really different. It's just that we're not talking about a geographical landscape of the Earth anymore. We're talking about a geographical landscape of the cosmos.
What we have to do is we have to bring it down smaller.
The map's just
bring it. That's what I'm fixing to go. I'm going right there. Bring it smaller. Bring it down. Okay. Continental Divide. Have you ever stood on it? Have you ever driven a car on the Continental Divide? I'm not talking about flying over it. Have you ever actually been on the Continental Divide?
No.
I've been on the equator. I'm not sure about the continental
divide across America.
Mm.
Okay, Rocky Mountains. Okay, until you stand on it, you don't realize what all of those people from the east, how badly they wanted to get to the west, especially in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, it's hard enough in a car pulling a trailer.
Right.
But can you imagine doing it on a horse and wagon or
Yeah.
walking? So these people wanted to get there so badly
Right.
that they crossed this, even in the wintertime.
With people
against
attacking
with
them
the
and all, I mean, just all
Indians,
kinds of
with
stuff.
the
like
bandits, with
plagues
absolutely
and
everything.
all kinds of stuff.
So take it to the next step. Why do you really want to get to Mars? If you don't really want to go, all of those things aren't important. You got to really want to get there.
Yeah.
And so I understand what Ian's saying. I would not do it without Hottie Doctor. I wouldn't do it. Now, if she said, let's roll, I would be going in a heartbeat.
So see, I mean, I'm going to play devil's advocate here because honestly, I don't know that I feel the same way. And it's not because I don't have a great life. I have a beautiful wife. I have incredible kids.
Right.
I mean, I've got everything that I could possibly want in this life, but an opportunity to go and pioneer something for all of humanity is such a special opportunity. You're talking about, you're talking about little me, insignificant, nobody me, being able to do something that could really change the way that the world sees life. I think about people like Rosa Parks. This is somebody who was a nobody, who had no status whatsoever, who just because she decided to change her seat on a bus did something so amazing and so incredible that she changed all of history. I mean, this is a real opportunity. And so I'm just saying, like, before you just immediately discount what the outcome of something like that could be and what it could mean for the human race. I mean, what if I went to Mars and like pioneered populating a different planet, and then the very next year the world was going to be destroyed by an asteroid?
Right.
That work would all of a sudden mean something that I could have never seen in hindsight. And so I'm just saying, before you just immediately go, I mean, I think that the whole love aspect of it is noble and great. I'm just saying, but what if?
All of that is not worth it if I can't share it with her.
I hear what you're saying.
Okay, you also haven't waited till you're 60 to find your woman either.
Well, that's true.
Okay.
Well, and so
put it in that perspective.
And trust me when I say I hear everything you're saying, and there is a fraction of myself that I feel like does agree with you, and maybe it's just where I'm at in my life right now.
Yeah.
But that's why I would say I would probably lean more towards, I don't think I could.
Yeah.
Partially because I don't think I'm probably the most I want to say effective, but the most qualified, I guess is the word I'm looking for. But I do hear what you're saying, and I do agree with you.
But hear me when I also say, listen, this would be hard. This would be a hard decision.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm not saying I would. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
I'd have to really think about that, because this is a very wide, sweeping, very ramifications to it. I mean, this is not an easy or a light decision. But what I also hear you both saying is that conditionally, if you could take your significant others and stuff, that might be a different story. Is that true?
I wouldn't even no thought process on either one of them. Her, no, then I don't go. Her, yes, then I go. It's that simple to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I would be in the same kind of boat. Is like if I could at least have somebody there that I, especially Mallory, is like if I could have some form of, I guess, tie back to home. It's like I know that even if I'm going on this long trip, I think someone's there with me. If I'm going by myself or going like with, I don't know. It's one thing to think about where it's like I feel like I'd be a little less.
I'm happy leaving you guys here to be proud of me. I'm not happy about leaving her here
I heard
to be proud of me.
I heard the bandwidth in Mars is not very great, so I don't think we could have a podcast.
Yeah, podcast. Yeah, you'd have to wait you'd make a statement, and you'd have to
That's
wait
what it really
24
is.
days.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to leave the podcast.
Okay, so take it a step further. 4.2 light years away is Proxima B. That's the closest possible inhabited planet to Earth.
So that was the next thing I was going to say. There is if I really consider it, if there's a planet that is inhabitable that we can go to and like
come back,
maybe not even come back, but it's like go there and know that I can feasibly live there and not have to be like in a dome for like, the rest of my existence.
Oh, so all of a sudden now the experience of it's coming in. That's interesting.
I think it now because I'm thinking like I know.
So you don't want to be an inside child.
Realistically, I know that like if I was to go live on Mars right now, and to go like try and start something for the human race, like we had talked about before, it's like it's going to take a couple thousand to who knows how many hundreds of thousands of years until we have like an atmosphere that everyone can like live on. At least that's what I've heard from like people people that are way more intelligent than I am.
For like terrascaping the planet,
exactly,
and all that sort of
terraforming
stuff,
and making an atmosphere. Like it's going to take a long time for it to happen, unless there's some sort of crazy jump in technology, which I'm totally not, discrediting.
Yeah.
But
can't you ask your alien lovers?
Right. So, first of all, my wife would be like, "Hell no, you're not leaving me here with these kids." so that would be my first big obstacle. But I have to tell you, I think the reason why it's a little bit attractive to me is because like living in a dome would be my dream. Because I'm allergic to everything outside anyway. I suffer every time I open my front door, whether it be from the tree pollen to stuff on my windshield when I turn my wipers on.
Right.
I'm allergic to everything outside. I have to pay somebody to mow my yard because I'm allergic to the grass. And I suffer every time they mow it. And so like, the whole inside aspect of it is kind of like the appeal for me, because I suffer every time I'm outside. It's anyway.
Definitely not for somebody that's claustrophobic.
Yeah, that's
that
true.
That wouldn't bother me at all. I can handle that.
Yeah.
I can handle either one of them.
I feel like I could do it for a while, but I just think like in the grand scheme of things, knowing that I will have to live out the rest of my days, like not like being in some sort of home environment of some kind.
Hear me out.
Hear me out.
Hear me out. What if you were my age?
And that's hard because I don't think I've never.
What if you're 60? What if you're 60 years old? You're like what, 19 now?
Oh Jesus! Yikes.
You would be like aged beef. You'd be like a food source. Like I would hate you.
No, what I'm talking about.
Good luck trying that one.
A meatloaf.
No, but seriously, what if your age was different?
It's hard for me to answer that because I don't know. I haven't lived your life. I haven't lived as much as you have, and so I may have a different perspective, like you're saying, where I may still be happily in my relationship and want to go like, but I can't live with that person.
You're talking about it's going to redefine everything for you. Like beauty is not going to be like what we consider it here on Earth. It's not going to be pretty rivers and trees and birds and the sky and all that sort of stuff. It may be rock formations or the way that the dust blows in over the western horizon, or like don't
you think it would make a human go kind of insane?
I don't know if it would. I don't know if it would. Like what? Like who's to say? I mean, did it make our explorers go insane? I don't think it did. I mean, for the most part.
But they had the opportunity of potentially coming back. I'm still thinking about this you're going there and that's it. So it's like you got to figure out how to live.
There were never
life.
Any guarantees for any of that though, and so that's my point. Is kind of like, I mean, it really, I think it takes the right kind of person to kind of go, I have this thing within me that the exploration piece is so instilled. I think it's just like anything else. I think there's giftedness. I think there are people in the world that can take that kind of change, and I think that they can thrive in it. And I think there are other people that will probably crack under the thing. And I'm not so sure that I wouldn't go and then like in 2 months be like, what the hell did I just do?
Get me out of here.
Like I cannot stand this. I want to go back home.
Going back to the
think about it. Every time you took a step, no one's ever been there before.
I know.
Every time you take a step, no one's ever been. Every time you climb on this peak, no one's ever been there before.
See, that's a very exciting thought. I mean, for me, like I think that's really, really cool. Like,
right.
And I get that you want to do it with somebody, but is your fear really based in the fact that you just don't want to be alone, or like what
I
is
think
it?
I think for me, it almost feels like yes, you're doing a lot to further humanity. Yes, you're exploring. Yes, you're seeing something new. But at the same time, with that being said, like you are signing a certificate that says, like, you will live out the rest of your days here and die. here, and that's unless like
does that freak you out
a little bit because it almost is like I'm making the decision to then like explore and see the entire universe, but at the same time I'm also signing a death certificate saying that
everybody going to die.
You're right.
Why not be the first?
But you're opening the graveyard. I mean,
right.
like that's cool, you know, like.
I mean,
be the only one to die on Mars.
But you know, we've talked a lot about Mars. What about the other places? I mean, is there
that's
anywhere else that
what
you
about
want?
Proxima B?
That's what I was trying to say.
One. What if you could go there?
If it was a place that was more inhabitable, like an Earth-like planet, I feel like I would be, again, when I say more inclined, I'm talking about like fractions of a percent here still, but I think I would be more inclined to, because again, then you have the freedom of a planet to deal with. You could, like, again, instead of being confined to a shelter of some kind, and that's all you have, and then of course you got to suit up to go do anything. You have the whole Earth at your fingertips. What it kind of would feel like. And I'm not saying
until you find out the mosquitoes are 8 foot long.
Exactly right. They have poison that kills you.
They have these giant worms that go underground and
right. Yeah,
they're basically land serpents.
Doom.
Yeah, right. Doom.
There's just
Did
space
you ever
tigers.
See Doom?
Yeah, that's weird. Is that the one where they had the weird nose pieces?
You haven't seen Doom?
I have not seen Doom, and that's next on the list.
Oh my God! Like, have you seen anything?
Yes, we just celebrated our 100th episode, and that is 100.
Congratulations!
100
really?
more movies that I haven't seen before.
That's amazing.
And I'm sorry that it hasn't.
I'm proud of you.
It hasn't. The circles haven't overlapped for movies that you want me to see. So I'm sorry, but.
Can we just plan your next season then?
Yes, we need to.
You know what?
I really just want to give this guy
a good idea. Why don't y'all let us plan the next
Hey, it'll be, what do they call it when two different shows overlap each other?
Collab.
A collaboration.
Yeah, can we just do like a collab and we'll just give
yes.
Aftermath a little bit of 1 month. Let's do a month.
Right.
We'll give you 30 movies. You guys watch them and
right.
And then, that'd
let
be
us
cool.
plan your next couple episodes.
And y'all can give us, and in return, y'all can give us topics to discuss.
Yeah, I love it. But yeah, like I said, if it comes down to that, it may sound a little more enticing. But
let's sweeten the pot a little bit. Okay. So now, it's not just you're going to this planet; they're going to name the planet after you.
I don't care.
They're going to name. So now there's going to be naming rights to the planet. It's going to be Planet Ian, Planet Stony, Planet Ian and Mallory, Planet Stony and Huddy Doctor. So now you've got this great brand new planet that's named after you and your family. Does it make any difference? You even remotely interested in that?
No.
Like you'll go down in history. That planet will be named after you for the rest of all time.
Don't care.
All right.
I mean, we're talking like little bits here. It would be interesting. It'd be
People
nice.
get excited when parks are named after their family members. So this is a planet.
I don't care.
Okay, Stony.
I think I would. I think it'd be a little more because I think it would.
So got one taker.
Because I guess it makes I think a lot of the work more worth it in the long run.
A little rewarding.
As because it's like if you go there. And you do all this work, there's no guarantee that everyone's going to remember you.
Okay.
Like, there is. I mean, people will probably do that, but at the same time, like, nothing like, naming the whole planet after you.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. So, all right, we've talked about a planet, Proxima B. What else? What other places
I was thinking, what about on like a big ship or some sort of space station that is like for instance, if we had to like live on a big space station outside of Mars until it was ready to be
You're talking about like Death Star from Star Wars, because that would be really cool.
Maybe not
that would be amazing.
Maybe not that big, but I was meaning like
Stony would like that. It's like the biggest gun in the universe.
Right. No, but like it is like, again, having some sort of space station you have to live on. Like I said, until like Mars is ready. It's like the same sort of thing. Is like,
what was that movie they had to do that? WALL-E? Remember WALL-E?
Oh yeah,
it was a little robot.
The little robot guy, and they were living on the big spaceship because Earth was too polluted.
Wasn't there one with Chris Pratt that did the same sort of thing? And
this is the premise.
WALL-E was a great movie.
I kind of remember it, but I don't. Yeah. Oh, it was a cartoon.
Fell in love with the little cute cartoon that came down to check the planet out.
It was WALL-E. You're talking about WALL-E.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
I'm talking about, what was that spaceship movie? What was it called?
Spaceballs?
No.
What
Passengers.
A great movie. Have you seen Spaceballs?
Spaceballs is a great movie.
I believe I've seen some of it, most of it. Who knows?
Okay, so here, here's the deal. I think that's going to be a big reality because I think that's going to be an actual profession in the future.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have like space traveler people that are basically like future truckers, space truckers.
Right. Space truckers, yeah.
Space truckers.
It's my favorite band, Space Truckers.
Very cool.
Right. Yeah, but I was thinking, like, again, Passengers had a great story premise. If you haven't seen it, I believe all of them are like in cryogenic freezing, so they're all like frozen, trying to like
in pods kind of thing?
Right, and they're all being taken to like a new planet or something.
Oh, yeah.
And I think the kind of twist of the movie is that our guy Chris Pratt, he like somehow wakes up. I think his pod malfunctions or whatever. And they're like, oh, so like you woke up unexpectedly and we can't really put you back under. And like we have another like 100 years worth of travel.
Wow.
And so it's like you're going to kind of die here alone.
Ew.
And then coincidentally, Jennifer Lawrence's character wakes up as well.
That was not coincidence.
Exactly. The movie begins off making you feel like it is. Like, oh, conveniently there's two people here.
Yeah.
But I think he ended up sabotaging something to have somebody to live out the rest of his days with.
Interesting.
And then I think somehow it comes out later that, like, I think she finds out.
So is that a more comforting thought for you, Ian? Is to like live this out on a spaceship instead of on a star or something?
No, I was just offering up, like, again, so instead of having like a planet with like a dome you have to live in, what if like you have to live in a spaceship for like a couple years until like, a facility's
Well, let me ask
built.
you this. What would be easier for you? Like, what would be easy for you to accept? Say you don't get a choice. The draft comes and you don't get a choice whether to leave your girls or whatever. You don't get any choice. The military says we've got two things for you to do.
Try taking me.
All right. But let's just say that you have to make a choice.
I just did.
What would you do? Like, would you rather live on a space station or would you rather live on a planet in a pod?
Oh man, that's hard. I think I'd rather live on a space station. At least I know, like,
Why?
We're in the confines of space, and I'm in like a big.
So you're going to be moving around
vehicle,
in a spaceship that's going somewhere.
I guess so. Instead of like
planet.
Instead of being in one fixed location in a dome, forever, knowing like again you may have other little areas, but like how real?
I mean, you get one little micro asteroid. There's a whole.
So your comfort is in the one thing moving around.
One person farts and messes up the AC air system for the whole.
I hope we have a little bit more better technology than that.
What, you think there's going to be like a fart or a degasser or something?
I don't know. There better be. I would take the planet.
It's the anti-methane system.
So Stoney takes the planet, you take the spaceship. Tell me why. Tell me what's the difference. Why are you Stoney?
Like go
ahead.
I was going to say, like I said, I think it's just the fact that I know. Depending on how big it is, obviously, I would think I'd have all the accommodations you would need, but I think that it's still the fact that I would have a better time, I think, coming to grips with the fact that I'm in space. And, like, again...
What if the space station is 10,000 square feet and the accommodation on the planet is 500,000 square feet?
I mean, I guess it would change at that point.
So,
on the planet, you don't have to wait for the bathroom. You don't even have to get behind a tree.
I love how you're making it sound like this is a one-bedroom apartment. Like, I'm thinking like spaceship. We're talking about like big thing.
On a spaceship and you crowded that many people on, there's not room to have your own bathroom.
I know.
You know, so at least on the planet,
but there are people that lived in very confined spaces on planets, even on this planet, like nursing homes and things like that. I mean,
Tokyo, I think, or Japan and Tokyo are like the most.
Yeah, but talking about being
that's like a drawer.
Yeah, I think it recently just got like most heavily dense population or something like that, like over the past like couple years.
I would never live there. I don't like that whole.
Nope. Nope. I'm dreading our cruise.
Because of the small quarters.
No, love small quarters.
Oh, okay.
I can do it. It's the people.
Oh, of course it is.
That many people can find.
And let's be honest, if we're talking about moving and repopulating the world, it's like people are sometimes the best and the worst part of this whole situation. Is like, I mean, if we're going to be going with other people, especially random people, it's, that kind of changes the game a little bit too.
What sacrifices are you willing to make? So say, for instance, you end up on this planet and you're the only ones. And so the government's agreed to let your significant others go with you. You guys are older. What happens if they're like, you're the future of this planet and we need you to populate because the Earth's population is just destroyed? Are you going to sacrifice your bodies and have babies and do all of the things that need to happen in order to repopulate the planet? Or,
I mean, I guess
The downside of having sex with Hottie Doctor
is children that you have to raise and feed and train.
Like I don't.
Well, let me just say one word.
Right.
Magnus.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to leave that one alone right there.
Right.
Magnus, we love you. Just want you to know that.
I don't know. It depends on what you're meaning. Like, if I'm with my significant other and then we just have to then repopulate at that point. I mean, this is
no longer
okay.
like, oh, should we have kids or shouldn't we? It's
Right.
like, no, you definitely should have kids.
Okay. I mean, but that's, like I said, I'm not okay. I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is if the government's like, okay, you as a healthy man, go spread your seed and be fruitful. You know what I mean? Like with multiple people. It's like, well, that's a little more, I mean, that may be.
Oh, okay. So you want to be in control of your own semen.
I guess so. I mean, basically. I would like to, exactly. I would like to know where my babies are coming from.
He likes to be master of his own destiny.
Mine is, I want to be responsible for my own actions. I think is the big thing is I just want to, oh, hey, I'm your son now.
But what if the government's completely willing to support them and raise them and all that sort of stuff? Like you're
more
stingy
inclined
with your seed?
Oh man, I'm stingy with your seed. That's my new rock band as well. I'm loving that.
Stingy with your seed.
Stingy with your seed. I'm going to be in the mosh pit on that night.
They actually were the openers for the band. What was it? Space Truckers.
Yeah, the Space Truckers. Yeah, with our headliner, Stingy with your seed.
Oh, I love it. That's great. Anyways,
I love the way your mind works.
Yeah. What about you? You're saying like you were saying something about what are you willing to sacrifice? Like what more are you talking about? Like in that, like you mean?
Yeah. So
I think qualities of life. Or you mean like what you mean?
Well, yeah. I mean just that, and then just the whole idea that your life becomes basically a living out of this need to procreate and to raise up a generation basically that is geared towards repopulation.
Right.
Like it's a very specific thing.
Yeah.
Because without the repopulation, nothing else happens in all of history. Like
right.
it ends there.
I feel like the sense of greater purpose would probably come over at that point where it's like I feel like I would.
I think my favorite part would be the sex, honestly. I mean,
that's the real
to make
reason
it work.
Why.
You'd have to have like one guy and 20 women in this area. Then you'd have to have one guy and 20 women in this area, and then you'd have to have like 5 or 6 colonies like that.
Right.
And then when their children were of age, you would have to mix them all together so you don't have all of this DNA corrosion and things.
My wife would be living her dream. She'd be like, "Sister wives, yay! Could you do the laundry?
Gosh.
Could you do the breakfast? Could you do that?"
I like just thinking about like what you're like. That's a great point that I never thought about, and that makes my head hurt trying to think about it. Is like, what would you do?
One woman's tough enough.
Well, first of all, but what I'm talking about is trying to, strategically plan your offspring to where your DNA doesn't cross through and you have, you
just do one until you piss them off and then go to the next.
No.
Lord.
Oh my gosh. We're definitely offending a large majority of people on this one. I feel like we're treading into a dangerous territory. Oh man. Yeah. But what about other things like qualities of life where like what if you had to I don't know, like what are some like I guess qualities of like comforts that you enjoy here that may not be in space you have to just kind of deal with?
Fresh air.
I mean, I guess you're right. Because I'm thinking like again I'm also thinking in the aspect now of like what if it's like you and like 9 other people like that all get drafted together.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I think it would be really fun just because I think that's really going to change for you there. Like, I think you're going to find new things.
I see.
That are so more entertaining, like that are so unique and so far outside of your own realm of thought as far as experience is concerned. Like, oh, hey, honey, let's sit and watch let's watch the magnetic storm come from, the East Pole, like things that you could have never even imagined.
Well, psychologically. Let's think about that. Psychologically, let's look at that. Every place we've gone to the moon, Earth has always been right there.
Uh-huh.
It's always been right there.
Right.
What if you go far enough that the Earth disappears? What happens to your brain at that point? that you can't see the Earth anymore. You know, they have,
or it's just a like.
I think the priority becomes the thing that you're standing on. I mean, that's what I think. I think that your life is still your life. I just think that your priorities shift in a big way, and I think that your value system shifts, and I think the things that you hold important shift. And I don't think that all you do is spend the rest of your life wishing that you had Earth again. I think you're going to sit there, and I think you're going to discover the wonder of whatever you're in, and you're going to make the best of that situation.
Whoever you're in.
Oh, God.
I was joking earlier when I said this is so sexually charged. I'm not even kidding at this point. Anyways,
that is hysterical.
Is that I've heard people people that get the chance to go up to like the International Space Station, and like people that get to get outside the atmosphere and look at the planet and say like how emotional it is to like really see the world for all it is.
Right.
And I believe that you may have a little. I agree with what X-Man's saying. I feel like you would have this moment of what is more important is I don't worry about what's right here. But I still feel like there may be a occasional, like, you know, you get, like you said, 2 months in, you're like, what am I doing? Where you look up at the sky and go, that star right there is Earth, and there is no possible way I can get back there.
Yeah.
It's like you may have this sense of like.
But in a way, it frees your mind in order to do something that no mind has ever done. You know, like that's the thing. That's the whole point is like you're having a unique opportunity as a human, basically experiment to delve into stuff that has never, ever been even thought of or considered. Or that's the excitement of it, is to be able to kind of go, my God, I've been put in this unique position to go and think in ways that no other human being has ever thought.
Yeah.
And so that to me is like the big draw. That's to me is like the most attractive thing about an experience like that, is to just be able to kind of go, I'm going to spend the rest of my life thinking in terms that nobody has ever thought. Right. I'm not retraining my brain or anything. Yeah. Like this whole sky is the limit and everything is new. And so that could be really exciting for the right people.
Interesting.
You know, I'm not sure that would be me, but I think that I would probably enjoy it more than the two of you. Sounds like it.
I just feel like I would enjoy it with Hottie Doctor.
Yeah, right. Sure. No, I'm totally with you. I would rather have my family.
Something amazing if you can't do it with her. Right. It's not worth it to me.
I feel like I would get like 6 months in and be like, man, I just want to go back home. Because I'm equating this to what I already know in my own life, and like moving away to a different country and being there for like knowing I have to be there for a year.
Okay, and so here's something that I'm going to draw that is a distinct difference between me and the two of you.
Right.
And I think this difference really, really matters.
Okay.
My parents are dead. My grandparents are dead. I don't have the same kind of have those same kind of ties. As a matter of fact, I'm in a job right now where I've pioneered and moved in a place where I have no relationship.
And you see, and that's what I said like right at the get-go was the fact that like I'm not saying that my life has to be shit for me to want to go move to Mars or whatever, but it's like I do think there are these little things here that like if I have to go there with little to nothing, and just for the sheer fact that they may name the planet after me, like they may rename Mars, or they may like, you know, I'm going to be forever remembered as the guy who changed the world, you know, or worlds at this point. Like, I don't feel like that like the risk doesn't outweigh the reward of that level of like, I know I'm going to probably die on that planet. But again, to know that like I still have a family here.
Yeah.
And people
see,
that
this
I care
is why
about.
my wife and my relationship works. It's so are hers. And so we don't have these kind of things tying us down, which make us free to go and do things that not just everybody would go and do and experience and embrace. And so it's kind of interesting in that way. And that's the one thing that I'm seeing that's coming to light for me from this episode is just kind of be going, wow, we're kind of in a unique situation here, because I hear the way y'all talk about it, and it's like a hard no, not without my, and I'm kind of like, well, you know, like it might be kind of cool. It might be fun. And you could really put yourself in a position to go and experience and do it.
Yeah.
And I think that just is uniquely because of...
And the fact that you were bringing up, again, like, for the betterment of all, like, it enticed it more for me that I didn't think about initially. I was thinking about my own life and the people that I know and myself. And then, like, then turning it and thinking about, you know, what if the Earth goes to hell in a handbasket and we need another alternative? I could be the one to like help.
But I'll tell you, one of
the
the biggest blessings in our life, my wife and I, is that we literally are spending it poured out for the sake of other people. And so, and that is, and it's filling the gap for people who don't have those people in their lives and those things. And so it's freed us up to become those things for people in their lives and meet those people and help in those situations where people, don't have the same connections that we all do. And so I tell you, I feel all of a sudden super grateful for that experience to get to experience something like that. So
that's really cool.
This has really been eye-opening for me. I've really enjoyed talking about this because it's starting to make me feel super grateful for some of the experiences that I'm having.
Right. And we're also going to start our new bands pretty soon too.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Space Truckers and
Space Truckers.
And what was the other one? Stingy with your seed.
Stingy with your seed. Stingy with your seed.
I forgot what it was called. You're right. That's so fun though.
But you know what? I have to tell you, Stoney, I always love the way that you very valiantly talk about your relationship with Hottie Doctor. I think it's cool that you're like kind of, it's her, nothing, and it's super like romantic.
Well, y'all know me.
Right.
I've done some things, been some places, met some people.
Right.
I've done some really amazing things in my life.
Right.
And in the middle of doing those amazing things, I look around, there's nobody with me.
Yeah.
And it's not worth it.
Yeah.
And now I'm realizing with her, the small things are important.
Yeah.
And the big things that we do are even more important. So if I'm going to do something, I've already done it by myself.
Yeah.
Right. So I've already been there, done that, got the T-shirt. Now I'd like to do it with her.
I think that should be his band's name. I've already done it myself.
Done it myself. It's a new
Something
album.
wrong with you.
Come on.
But honestly, I think that's
what
really,
your hair reminds
cool.
me of?
Oh, stop! Please, no.
Do you
no.
remember?
He's talking to Ian.
No.
I'm talking to you.
You cannot be
There's
looking
a
at me
movie-
right now.
There's a movie you haven't seen yet. There's something about Mary.
Okay.
And you need to watch that movie. And then
Shut
come
up.
back and
I've
tell me
seen
if
that
I'm
movie
not
and I know
right.
exactly what you're doing.
Okay.
The dude, she shows up to a date with the dude and he has his own comb in his hair.
No, it's on his ear.
But he calls it, and she goes, "Oh, look, moose," and she rubs her hands in it and puts it in her hair.
And
I
her
remember
hair
that
starts
scene.
doing this the whole night.
Oh my gosh.
You are sick, dude. What is wrong with you? I can't
You want
believe
the whole
even said
list
that.
or the Reader's Digest version?
The abridged version.
I've got a couple of chapters that I own in that book. Let me tell you.
Okay. So what? Okay, so you guys have talked about this before. What is if you were to just? It doesn't have to be super serious. If you were to throw out there like 5 or 10 movies that like should be on the short list of ones that we should watch for the
Like
next,
space movies or like any
or
movie?
just I guess any movies. You guys were talking
Well,
about
The Martian
movies
should
that-
be one of them.
Martian. Okay.
The Martian's a great movie.
Yeah, The Martian is a great movie.
Dune would be another one, the original.
We
not the
have
second
okay, so
one.
we have plans to watch the original 70s or 80s Dune, whichever one it is.
Is that the one with the nose piece?
Yes.
Thing? Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I just wanted to make sure I understood which one.
Right.
Yeah. So, have you watched Interview with the Vampire?
No.
Oh God.
No.
Got to watch that one because that was actually filmed at a plantation in the South called Oak Alley.
Oh, wow.
Really, really neat movie, and so very, very cool. You
Well, a
should
lot of
definitely
it
watch
was
that one.
filmed in New Orleans and in France.
Yeah.
And
So it's
around.
Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, right?
Brad Pitt. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I should watch that one. That was actually what made like Twilight and all of those other things possible.
Oh, I
it kind of
see.
paved the way for these other movies.
I see what you mean.
That is true.
And was that Anne Rice?
Yes.
So you're talking about someone from, an author who wrote
Yeah.
frequently about the South and stuff. So,
Right.
and she recently died, not maybe
She
a
did.
couple of years
Yes.
ago.
Very,
Mhm.
very recently.
Very recently.
Interesting.
So, anyway, I would say that one. Another, have you seen Shawshank?
No.
Shawshank Redemption?
No.
Are you serious?
Serious, yeah.
Oh
dude.
my
That one-
god,
that
dude!
one
That's
is
like
one-
every man's
I know,
favorite movie.
Right. So there is a handful of the top movies of all time that we are planning on watching, but we haven't yet. 'Cause
Okay.
we're trying to sprinkle through the really big ones.
Bro, Shawshank Redemption has to be one.
Yes,
It
and that is
has
one of
to
them.
be.
We recently probably a handful of episodes ago we watched Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction's a good one. Yeah.
Pulp Fiction, and then we watched.
Have you watched Naked Gun?
No, we
Oh
just
my God.
recently. We
You
just
have to.
recently, because of a mutual friend of ours, Mitch. He said I should have watched Top Gun, and we did that one as well.
Okay.
I think probably like 2 weeks
No,
ago.
look at Naked Gun. That's Leslie Nielsen.
Naked-
It's
I
a comedy and it's hysterical.
I've heard.
like
of it,
you
but-
have to watch Naked Gun.
What about The Crow?
The Crow?
Oh, The
No.
Crow is a good movie.
Yes,
I forgot
and
about
let
that
me throw
one.
one more out there. The Raven.
No, never seen
That's
it.
It's
like a
about
bird
Edgar
thing.
Allan Poe.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Okay.
And the last week of his life, no one knows what happened to him. He
Right.
disappeared. And he showed up on a park bench. I'm not going to tell you what it is, saying one sentence. And then he died. And somebody took some theatrical license to what that 1 week was.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amazing movie.
Then what about Titanic?
Ugh.
I have seen that one outside the podcast. We haven't watched it for the podcast.
Okay.
Though.
But you're talking about one of the most successful and famous movies of all time. So
Absolutely.
I mean, that's
Right.
it's definitely
Well, I think on that list.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. Both of them could have fit on the damn door. Okay. I'm sorry. Really take turns.
It's like Rose.
something.
Scoot your ass over. I'm cold.
Yeah, share some of this door. We're gonna get into the conversation now about Titanic and the do's and don'ts of all that. But like one on that list is like The Godfather. I've never seen the full movie of The Godfather, but I know that's like on the top.
What
Like
the hell is wrong with you? And
I mean,
two's
okay,
even
well,
better.
first
The
of all-
Godfather?
okay,
Are you serious?
I don't need you guys to
I feel
fight
like
me over
I want to
this.
admonish you.
The problem is I'm trying to get better and I'm trying to watch
Okay,
movies, and you guys are
here's
making
one.
it hard for me to want to do
Here's
that.
one for him. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I
That's a
believe
really good one.
I believe I've probably seen some of that.
What about what's the Eastwood movie? Go ahead, make my day. Dirty Harry.
Dirty Harry.
Harry,
Yeah.
Dirty Harry should be on your list. Walking Tall.
Okay.
That
Yes.
should be one. Oh, dude, that is
And
a
actually,
killer
the
movie.
second
Right.
one was good too.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Walking Tall is a. I remember that one as a little boy.
Yeah.
I was like, holy moly!
I have
That dude was
recently
tough.
have been like forming this opinion that I think I've known about.
Yeah.
But like now it's becoming like a full-fledged like theory for me.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't say theory, a opinion that I have in that there are a lot of series where the sequel, like the second movie in like a franchise or whatever,
Uh-huh.
so far has been like my favorite movie for some genres.
Yeah.
We just recently watched. I've been introducing Mallory into the original trilogy of Star Wars.
Yeah.
My favorite movie series.
She did Empire
And-
Strikes Back.
And so the
great
Empire
show.
Strikes Back. I was like, the things that I was starting to realize is that I like the first movie because it establishes a series. You get to know the characters.
Right.
You get to know all this lovely stuff of the world or whatever may happen.
Right.
But a lot of times, if a sequel's done right,
It's good. Yeah.
the sequel it doesn't need to take the time to establish the characters again, so it has a good chance of like you get to understand the second mission they have to go on, or the
Right.
second quest, or
Right.
and then it also can take its time in certain areas, and then maybe introduce a new character or something, but really grow the dynamic of the team you already have.
Right.
And a lot of times I have tried this out with a handful of movies we've watched, and I've noticed it's like I just have been digging the second movie.
Yeah.
We watched the Michael Bay Transformer movies again.
Yeah.
The first one was great, but I realized the second one
It's even better.
was a really, really well done movie. And
Yeah.
I was like, and I realized I loved it because of those factors of like not needing to like really establish.
Well, as good as The Godfather was, they
Right.
say The Godfather 2 is probably the best movie ever made.
and they say the same thing about Empire Strikes Back.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that's the best movie ever made.
Well, but
And I love
again,
Star
but
Wars.
in certain
Yeah.
in certain circles, people will
It
say
may
that,
have been the best one of that series,
right.
But
Yes, I have heard in certain filmmaker perspectives they will say that Empire Strikes Back is the best movie ever made. That, and of course also Shawshank Redemption and Godfather.
Have you
all
ever
that
seen
stuff.
Papillon?
oh, good
No.
movie.
Oh, that's a really good movie too. Is that
Really?
Dustin Hoffman? Maybe. Papillon.
I don't know. I've never even heard that before.
No,
Right?
Papillon is amazing. It's a great
Well,
movie.
if you're going to go that route, go The Bridge Over River Kwai.
Yeah, Bridge Over River Kwai.
Oh,
my
my
God,
God.
that's like oldie, but worth the.
Because it's
Really?
based on a
Yeah.
true story.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a really amazing. I must have watched that movie like 30 times when I was
Well,
a kid.
really?
Oh, The
Oh.
Deer Hunter.
The Deer Hunter.
Oh, The Deer Hunter is such a great movie.
All right.
You
I'm going to
gotta
throw
see
one
The
at
Deer
you.
Hunter.
The Great Escape.
Oh yeah, that's a good.
Oh,
one. Really
we've
good
watched
one.
that for the podcast.
That is a
That
great
is
movie.
a great movie.
Yes, that is a classic.
And have you seen Full Metal Jacket and all that? I mean,
I have seen
Hamburger Hill.
What is
yeah.
the what's his name?
Clockwork Orange.
I've not seen that one.
Oh my God! You
I
have to
have
see
that
Clockwork
on-
Orange.
Yeah.
I have that on DVD.
Okay.
Clockwork
It's a
Orange
Blu-ray.
is unbelievable.
What is
so good.
what is the guy's name in The Great Escape?
There's a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Jim Rockford.
No. Main guy.
Uh,
Oh come on! I know his name.
oh, he died in the car.
What you wait?
Oh
What?
my God,
What you mean?
he died in the car. He was a guy on a motorcycle.
I'm talking about the one who has like a brand, Newman.
Paul Newman.
Paul Newman, yeah.
Paul Newman.
Like the salad dressing dude.
No, I was wrong. That's the wrong guy.
Yeah,
his
he's
name
not
is
in that.
his name is Steve McQueen.
Yeah, Steve McQueen.
Oh,
That's
Steve
my-
McQueen.
I'm
yeah.
so wrong. What is
I'm like, what
what
the
is
hell
what
is
is
he
Paul Newman in then that I'm thinking of? We watched a movie probably 6 months back.
Did you ever see Poseidon Adventure?
No, I've never seen that either.
Poseidon Adventure's good. What was the submarine movie? Red
K9.
October.
Oh, Hunt for Red
Hunt for
October.
Red
is another
October
good
is
one.
a good one.
Okay. Paul Newman was in Cool Hand Luke.
Oh,
We
yes,
watched
Cool Hand
that- We
Luke.
watched
Yeah,
that one
yeah.
for
So
the podcast.
I've got one for you. It's called The Way.
The Way. Okay.
The Way. It's not a great. It's not a big movie. No production on it. You're literally going to watch Martin Sheen walk 800 kilometers.
Okay.
There's no gunfights, no sex, no cussing,
Right.
nothing. But his son, Emilio Estevez, in real life, wrote and directed the movie, who plays a cameo as his son.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he is kind of this hipster. He doesn't have a way in life, but he goes around and checks stuff out. And so he
Right.
goes on the Camino de Santiago. It's a real pilgrimage.
Yeah.
It's been going on for
remember this.
over 1,000 years. And he dies on the first leg of it. And Martin Sheen goes to France to collect his body and decides to go on the journey. Because
Wow.
that's what all this, we're on a journey right now. And it's about the people and the things that happen to you along your life's journey.
Right.
And it is an amazing movie.
Have y'all ever seen that movie where it's like the dude that gets wrapped up with a conversation with the trucker guy on the CB, and it's a real creepy movie, and he's like, "Hello, this is Candy Cane,"
Oh my gosh.
and
no.
it's oh my God, it's kind of like a weird like psychotic thriller kind of movie.
Interesting.
And so that would be a good one. The CB, I just forget the name of it. But it was like Candy Cane. You know,
What
the
about
CB.
the original Tron?
Okay, so that is one we actually, because we have Disney Plus, and that's one that we have. I've seen the newer one, Legacy, which is good in its own right, but I've never seen the first one. And my co-host on that one was like, we need to watch that one again because he wants to rewatch Legacy, which is the one that came out like in 13 or something like that. The newer one. But anyways, thank you for sharing all these.
Yeah,
great
there's like
movies. I
zillions
know.
of more.
I was
like,
just wanting to talk about it because you guys brought it up, and I was like, I want to talk about
for sure.
what we had.
But all of this is stuff that you
one
can
more.
do, killing time on Mars if you want.
Right.
One more.
Yeah,
Okay.
Schindler's List.
Yeah, that's a great
Okay.
movie.
Yes.
That is
And that's
an
another one.
important movie.
That's another one of those like on the top of the list. You can go like on IMDb and they have like the most top rated 100 movies or
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
And, like the first 5 is like Shawshank Redemption, Pulp Fiction. What's the one? The Shining. We watched The Shining for the podcast. That was another big one.
That's a good one.
It's scary.
Did you ever see The Exorcist?
Yeah.
Oh gosh,
It's
that
a little.
was
It's not my cup of
weird.
tea.
Okay.
Scary.
You brought up vampires earlier. What about the Lost Boys?
Oh yeah, that was good. What was the one where they went to Alaska?
Did you just shake your head?
Do you remember
no?
which one I'm talking
I've
about?
never seen it.
Oh, was it 28 or 20?
That was Terminator.
No. It was vampires in Alaska.
28 Days of Night.
28 Days
Yes.
of Night. Oh my God.
Yes.
If you watch any vampire movie, watch that one.
No,
It is.
you got to watch the
It's
Lost
like
Boys.
it's
Okay,
like
okay.
crazy. It's so scary.
I believe you. Okay.
All
That
right.
was a good movie.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
if it-
That one scared. I wasn't expecting it,
Well-
and I started watching it. I'm like, "What is this movie?" And then by the end of it, I'm like, "I don't know. I want the light on. I want
Hear
some."
me out.
Hear me out. Okay.
Okay. Y'all know what I do, who I am.
Yeah.
Right,
You know,
right.
I ain't scared of shit.
Right.
I mean nothing.
Yeah.
But when I was 12,
Yeah.
this movie came out called Salem's Lot.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
For Salem's
My
Lot.
mom and dad forbade us to watch that movie. It was like a mini series. What was it?
Yeah.
2 nights or
Yeah, yeah,
3
yeah.
nights or something?
It was like on TV,
Yes.
and it was so scary.
It was insane.
Yeah.
Really.
They forbade us to watch it. I went to a friend's house and I watched it.
and then you couldn't sleep.
I couldn't sleep. It was the only time.
I hid under my covers from that show.
Only time
for
in
weeks.
my life.
Do you know?
I snuck out of my mom and dad's house.
Yeah.
It was 2:00 in the morning. I went out the back door. I was so scared.
Yes.
And I walked out into the middle of, we had about a 3.5, 3/4 acre to an acre yard. And I walked out dead square in the middle. Full freaking moon.
I used to put
Hold
myself
on, wait.
in
Hear me out. So I started screaming at the top of my lungs. If there's any vampires out there, come get me. Come get me now. I refuse to be scared of you anymore. And that was the last time I was ever scared of anything.
Wow.
I walked back in the house, and I've not been scared of anything since.
There you go.
They didn't come get me.
Not yet, at least.
except to go to Mars without Hottie Doctor. Yep. I'll tell you this. That was a scary movie, and honestly,
awesome, wasn't it? For the time,
it was one of those where I had to put myself under my covers, and I had to tell myself that was protection against any vampires coming to my room because I was so afraid.
Did you guys ever watch John Carpenter's The Thing?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was one.
Yeah.
That was.
I
one,
liked that movie a lot too. It scared me.
That was the one that Dylan said he watched, which is my co-host on the other podcast. He said he watched when he was a kid, and it messed him up. He got real scared when he was a kid because it's the same thing. It was one of those things. The kind of premise is you don't quite know who the monster is, and it could be anybody. And it was like that really messed up as in the head as a kid. He's like, oh, I don't like that.
Did you ever watch The Legend of Boggy Creek?
No.
Oh, that one scared me as a little boy too. The Legend of Boggy Creek.
He likes that. Body Snatchers.
Oh yeah,
we watched Body Snatchers
Invasion
on
of
the
Body
podcast
Snatchers.
as well.
Good, you get a point for that.
We watched that one.
I'll give
like
you
I
a point
said,
for that.
But the same sort of thing. Again, it's just this. You don't know who the monster is, and it's kind of creepy.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Oh, then if you like that, you need to watch The Right.
The Right.
With Anthony Hopkins. He plays a priest.
Anything that Anthony Hopkins plays in is scary.
Really?
Silence of the Lambs is so terrifying.
I didn't find
Silence
it
of the Lambs?
Never seen it.
Holy okay, that needs to be like number one on your list. Like that is such a great movie.
The problem is that like if we look in my head right now of all the movies that are number one, there's like
30.
There's like 17 movies.
So you'll have to listen to your own
I know,
podcast
right now
and start writing them down.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you for sure. Silence of the Lambs. I mean,
Right.
that's a huge movie.
Okay.
And Seven. Did you see Seven?
Seven's a good movie.
Ooh, that's a great. It's about the 7 deadly sins. There's Brad Pitt in it, dude. He's a detective, and he gets like, oh my god, it's so wild.
Interesting.
Yeah, that one's got a good twist
I have
to
another
it.
one.
What?
Unusual Suspects.
Oh yeah, with Kevin Spacey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kaiser Soze.
Yeah, that's a crazy one.
Yes.
Okay.
I love how much you guys are enjoying this. I appreciate
Well, we're
it.
wondering why you have the podcast on movies.
Well,
I know, right? Like I'm ready. I'm ready to join your podcast.
Let me just for this podcast, that way everyone knows. When he says I have the podcast for movies, it's not for me because I'm like a movie buff that has watched all the movies. The whole premise of the show is the fact that I haven't seen any movies, and I have a really good friend of mine that has.
Well, we just gave you hours and hours of movies to watch.
And that's what I'm saying. Is like that's the whole premise of the show is that I watch a movie for the first time that everyone says is the best movie of all time, and then I get to sit here and go, okay, I love it or I hate it.
But we just gave you a list, so you get that list and watch it.
I literally have over 1,500 movies on DVD.
I know.
I need to bring them over here to you
and just say,
here's yourselves out.
Here's the thing. Go for it.
Exactly, and I would love that.
He'll be like, "What's a DVD?"
I don't understand what's going on here.
Wait, you can't download these?
No.
Why is everybody always picking?
I don't
on
understand. I don't even have a player for DVD.
Right, but anyway,
we stream our things.
I really appreciate you guys and all the suggestions, and I also appreciate everyone listening out there. Thank you so much.
We're joining this podcast.
I know.
And the thing is, if you want,
I'm definitely coming on as a guest now.
You can.
I'm like, what do you mean?
We'll do some cross promotion. It's okay. But
I like to come watch something.
Collaboration.
Anyway.
Exactly.
Yes, that's right.
Right.
That's right. We're gonna cross pollinate these two shows eventually.
And just so you know, Total Wine, we're coming to talk to you.
Oh yeah, we're coming for you.
We want you to be a sponsor of our show.
That's right. For sure.
Hashtag Total Wine. Hashtag Stoney for president.
Hashtag what was that? What was that rum? Hashtag Bayou rum.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's a good stuff right there. But yeah, I hope that we at least offended at least one group of people today. I think
if we did it, you suck. There. Now be offended.
But anyways, we're all just about equal opportunity offending here. But if you guys are looking for us, you can type in Retrospect Pod on most of like the social media platforms like Facebook and otherwise, and you'll be able to find us. You can also type in Retrospect on every major podcasting platform. And you should be able to find us as well. And if you can, give us a 5-star review. That'd be really nice. I really appreciate it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars.
Right. Right.
We'll name one after you.
If you type in Linktree/Retrospect Pod, you should be able to find all
You
the
can
links.
populate all of them.
You can populate
And
all
you can
of
just
it.
go to Facebook and look us up there too.
You know, it's all just in the same kind of location. But anyways, thank you so much for listening. And until next week, bye-bye.
See ya.
Peace.